Ahoy, landlubbers, it's me, your valiant Captain Vasco. And right now, we're staring a very angry-looking giant golem in the face. But in fact, he's just our friend Flint, with a giant, really big hammer. So today we're here hanging out at Persephone's rather than the game room, and I think we're going to talk a little bit more about why that is later. But for now, let's just say there's nothing for us in the game room. And let's get on with the upgrades. We've got a couple to get today because, as you might recall, at the end of last episode, I mentioned that we'd be going to meet Kaos. We shut off his defenses, and now it's time to go meet him, possibly try to capture him. I'm not sure if we're going to take Flynn's advice on that, but we've got some upgrades that we can get, and we'd best do that before meeting Kaos on his home turf, just in case, you know, it does come to that.
Welcome back. Ready for another magical upgrade?
I sure am. So between episodes I picked up a little bit of extra gold for Flint just by coming back to the ship once or twice. Didn't take that much. But the reason for that is because we can finally afford that thing I've been talking about forever. The Rockslidin Out Soul Gem ability for Flint, our giant heroic golem. So let's finally get it and try it out. Awesome. Now, we're going to go outside to show this off, simply because it's not really going to show off that well inside. So, now, by using the directional stick, I can move the boulders around at will, and it's not just, like, random in place. And, like, look how long it lasts. The nice thing about that is it makes you, like, a little bit harder to hit. You can still take damage while doing that. I haven't exactly figured out the conditions of how that applies. But it's like a pretty decent way to try and dodge attacks, because if someone's like coming at you, you can just be like, ah, and then roll away. You also deal damage to enemies while you're rolling into them with the boulders, and since they sort of spread out, it's kind of easy to attack multiple enemies and stuff. It just does a lot of cool things and really helps him out as a character, and I think it's pretty important to having him be on par with the other characters, which is why I've gone so far out of my way to make it happen. That being said, we do still have other characters. And one or two of them can get upgrades, one of which being Yoshi. I do love his mariachi hat. May soon be time to change it up though, he's had that for a while. Yes, I still would like a new magical upgrade. So, we have enough for two different ones, Firecracker Food, which makes firecrackers do more damage, but even though we can afford this and it's more expensive and that usually breaks the tie for me, I think I'm going to go with the Searing Sunblast because I definitely use the breath attack more. Generally, it seems like they've done a good job of mapping like the attack that you'll want to use most often to the A button because it's supposed to be your basic attack, and here they've managed to do that, at least in my opinion. Oh yeah, you can totally tell a difference. Look at that projectile. Now it's all like red instead of yellow. It looks way more intimidating. It looks more like a fireball than like a sunblast or whatever it's actually supposed to be. But hey, that's cool. It'll intimidate our foes. And we've got one more ability to try and get before leaving. And by try, I mean we'll talk to this fairy lady and she will give it to us because we have money. And that's how bartering works. Or the economy, I guess. Hello, fairy lady. So yeah, we've got the Pummeler, which increases our punch attacks, which is nice. I would say that in the case of Pegasus, our Eyebrawl, his attacks are sort of equally useful, so I sort of use both. So it'll be nice to upgrade the punches in addition to the flying laser stuff that we've been doing already. Alright, so now that we've bought his last like basic upgrade, there's the way Skylanders work, for those of you who didn't join me for Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, is that each Skylander character has 2 upgrade paths, and once there's like a set of upgrades you get before you have to make this decision, and then you have to make this decision, and then all of the rest of your upgrades will be along a certain path and you can't get any along the other path. There's sort of an exception to that rule with Skylanders Giants. Some figures you can switch back and forth between upgrade paths, but you still have to buy like each of the upgrades individually, so it's kind of expensive to do that, and only some characters can do it. Anyway, I'm going to refrain from making any choice for the time being. You can skip this and come back to it later, but I'll talk more about that later as well. Now, even though normally damage upgrades don't necessarily have a thing that's easy to show off, just like Yoshi before him, this damage upgrade's pretty self-evident. We have giant, like, brass knuckles or something on our fists now instead of just giant fists. Yeah, so that's pretty fun. Does more damage. It's good. And that'll take care of all of our business on the ship for today. So let's talk to Flynn and see if we can catch Kaos and put an end to his reign of chaos.
We're closing in on Kaos's newly unprotected castle now. Ready to drop in on that little creep?
You better believe it. That's what we just got all those upgrades for, right?
Aces! Can't wait to settle the score with him. So this is where that Kaos freak grew up. Seems normal enough. Thinking you could try the front door here. Sure, it's the more dangerous way. While the guards are busy with you, Callie and I will look for another way in. Good luck, Chief. See you soon, I hope.
I love how, like, blatantly Flynn and Callie just don't care about, like, risking your life and not ever doing the same themselves. It's just really funny. They're so cavalier about it. Right, so welcome to Kaos's castle. He does in fact have a new castle. It's different than the one in the last game. This is supposed to be like his family's old home where he grew up, and the other one was his like current mastermind sinister lair type thing. Look at that, a bunch of chompies. Is this the best you could do, Kaos? I'm actually a little disappointed, to be honest. But actually we're in a life area, so why don't we try out Yoshi's new fireballs. See how impressive they are. Of course, they'll be even more impressive with the boost given by the life battle area. Is there a formal name for that? I'm sure there is. I don't think I've ever come across it. If I have, I've certainly forgotten it. Let's use this ability. Haven't used it in a while. There we go. It's a little hard to aim those at first. When you upgrade that ability, it's easier to sort of hit anything around you with your melons. Of course, watch out for the Cyclopses. These guys, these are the armored kind, so they take an extra beating. And of course, they only take damage when they're not spinning, because as we all know, spinning equals invincible, and thus these enemies are quite sturdy. One thing... good, another new enemy. So, check it out. This guy makes clones of himself. They don't actually attack you. They do explode if you attack them, so try not to get close. But even if you do have only a melee Skylander, or you just liked melee Skylanders, you can tell which is the real one because he's standing here swinging his arms extra excitedly. And of course, every time you attack him, he makes more clones. Again, you can tell by looking at him which one is the real one. May take a couple of hits, and every time you hit him, he's gonna try and make new clones and shuffle them all around and everything.
Very good.
Yes, but as I was saying, probably should have destroyed those. There are a couple of Chaos face statues here. I think there's like a trophy/achievement for that, which is to destroy 6 of them in this level. There were 3 just there, so we need to find 3 more. I'm sure I can point those out to you later. Hello, friend.
Master Kaos make us drain water from pool after he hire troll guards. Too many of them fall in and not swim.
Oh dear. Well, perhaps we should have paid for some classes or something for them. So we're here in Kaos's pool for some reason. The way this works is front door's locked. If you talk to this Willikin, he'll tell you that there's like a secret entrance you can take, but you can't get in the main door without pressing a giant red button. So we're on a quest to find the giant red button. It's not gonna be easy. In fact, this level's quite long and full of lots of enemies, so there may be a couple of extra tricks I use to try and, you know, accelerate things, particularly Skystones games, that sort of thing, as we established last time. And speaking of...
Nice jumping, stranger. Do you wish to play a game of Skystones with me?
I sure do, and as I've pointed out in the last episode, I'm going to be trying to shortcut these in the future. You'll still get the gist of my strategy, and any major things I'll comment on as well. So I'll see you on the other side of this game of Skystones.
Hooray! This will be fun!
stone collected.
Not the best stone in the world, but then again, that was a particularly easy game. I don't know if you noticed that, but the only stones he had were all Frigid Chompy. So if you could beat Frigid Chompy, you can beat that guy.
You good at Skystones, stranger. Maybe next time I win?
Very good.
Alright, so actually, Yoshi just leveled up a minute ago, so let's give someone else a chance to wander around Kaos's castle. How about
Any last wishes?
Hinata, the genie? Right, so I didn't actually mention this before. There's this button that you press to lower these 3 pedestal type things, and they have bounce pads on them that allow you to bounce. But we do have the slight issue of the way this is set up in the beginning. You can't actually bounce across to anything. Now this took me quite a while to figure out originally, because apparently I'm just an idiot. But you can move these pillars around, these also pedestal things, and in so doing you can create paths to get to certain locations, i.e. there's like a left, a middle, and a right, basically. So we started off pushing everything to the right, now we'll push everything to the left. Yeah, it took an embarrassing amount of time. Like, I didn't remember there being any, like, large-scale pushable blocks, and so I thought, like, I was just, like, not getting the jumps correct, because, like, it starts off in a position where I think, like, you can almost get across one way by like, bouncing in, like, a weird diagonal pattern. But yeah, it was just me being really stupid, like, real stupid. Yeah, one nice thing about this level, there's a lot of treasure here. Like, a lot of it. Speaking of, let's see what's on the other end of this chain. If you can't guess by now, you probably haven't seen any other episode where there's been a giant's chain. I.e. a chain that a giant has to interact with in order to pull it closer. If you have seen one before, then you'll probably know that that is a treasure chest, and that is the thing that we will get. So let's open this up and get ourselves some treasure.
Yes.
Terrific. So, also speaking of treasure, I was saying that there wasn't anything for us back in the game room where we normally check out the vault door thing with the elemental type faces on them. And I actually learned something new about that today. I know that, I think, if not after every single level we've done so far, after almost everyone, we've gotten a new elemental door added. You know, in the back of the vault, so like it requires like one more elemental type of Skylander to get across. Also, there's a secret bounce pad back here behind this like little building. It bounces up to this Spyro floaty, which is worth 100 gold. So it's kind of easy to miss that. Like, you know, if you're not thinking about it, it might look like set dressing or something, but it's worth 100 gold, so that's pretty good. So let's head inside, as this will lead us to the secret passage, which will eventually lead us to where we need to go. But again, it will not be a short or an easy journey. We do have this tech gate. Now, this is something of a difficult level, so I'm sort of, hesitant to just use up the light core ability that comes with our tech Skylander by summoning him for this really stupidly short elemental gate. So I'm going to call on a guardian who I haven't introduced yet to anyone new to this series.
Bring the boom!
This is Bomberman. He is a boomer Skylander. He's the tech Skylander I took with me in my last adventure, Spyro's adventure. And I thought simply because, like, look how short this tech area is. It's really just like a waste to like use up the light core ability just to come in here and grab this this one winged sapphire. So even though I haven't properly introduced this character, I'm gonna do it this way because it seems silly not to. This is actually a reasonably difficult set of saw blades to avoid. Saw blades are like a new type of trap in this game, and in certain areas they use them quite liberally, and I believe this is the first time we're seeing them. I don't recall them in the past. We may have seen them briefly, actually. Don't happen to recall the specifics. But let's switch back to Hinata. She didn't have a chance to fight anyone, and there's a lot of fighting to be done today. Yeah. But for example, you know, we have that little tech gate full of saw blade traps, and then we have this whole area full of saw blade traps. It's basically like either an area has none or an area has several. There's very rarely an instance where there's like 1 or 2 of them. Forget if there's anything off to the right. I'm gonna check. Yeah, there's some treasure type stuff. Like I said, lots of treasure in this level, and I didn't finish talking about the vault either. So, yeah, normally we've been getting like an additional elemental type to try and get to open the vault the next time we see the door. So we need like 1 more Skylander every time to open it. After the last level, we didn't get such a thing, so there wasn't a new door in the vault, and I was pretty sure. I mean, I never like looked into it or anything, but I was pretty sure that when that was the case, there just wouldn't be anything in the vault. It would just be empty. Like, I thought it only closed and got new treasure when there was a new door to open. But apparently, it turns out that that is not the case, and we could in fact have gotten treasure. In order to verify this, I opened all of the gates, and then at the end, realized, here, maybe this way. I use magic orbs to break these barrels. Yeah, today I also wanted to try, this is another side note, I get sidetracked really easily doing these, but, you know, I usually end up with like an hour worth of episodes, so usually by the end I manage to talk about everything. I apologize about the fact that it's kind of hard to, like, time everything so that everything is going on screen. This is a fairly simple block puzzle. I like to start with the top and bottom blocks because they shift most easily into position. They sort of clear the path for the other ones. But I was saying, oh yes, today I wanted to try and use some, like, attacks and stuff that I don't normally use as much, so that's why, you know, using stuff like the melon attack before with Yoshi and, like, the orbs with Hinata. Still open to input from people about which upgrade paths to take. I was talking about the upgrade paths earlier. They sort of determine, like, a specialization for your Skylander, in a way. And, talk a little bit more about that again later. So I was pretty sure that when you didn't have a new vault door, you wouldn't get new treasure. That is true, or that is false rather. You can open the vault again and get new treasure after that last level, even though you don't have a new door to open. But what happened was that I opened all of the vaults to verify that there was in fact treasure in it and that the doors weren't actually closing. And then I left the ship and came back because I wanted to show myself opening that. Except the problem with that trick is that apparently once the game sees that you've opened the door, it assumes you've taken all the treasure and gets rid of all the treasure. So that's why I didn't get any treasure today on the ship, but I'm okay with missing out on that because really all I wanted to do was get enough treasure for Flint to get his Rolling Out upgrade, which we managed to do because I had to. I went to the ship, picked up all the like treasure in the boxes and in the lookout deck or whatever that's called, and then I got to do it again because I left the level and came back, and even though I lost the treasure in that one room, I still got treasure. So once you solve that block puzzle, you open a path to a button that lowers the bounce pad. You take the bounce pad to the left and like sort of off the screen. It's one of those things where the camera sort of like hides this secret area. And it will take you to, I believe they're called giant jumps. Those things where a giant has to use its massive weight to crush open a weakened spot in the floor. And it leads us to this room full of treasure and a princess hat. A princess hat. It's not the prettiest princess hat, I'll be honest, but it is a princess hat, and thus it seems appropriate for the one female giant.
Wonderful.
Look at that. Look at the ponytail. Sort of just like existing out the back of that. That's real nice. It's real nice. Yeah, so like for what it's worth, you could have more treasure than I do, but I'm fine missing out on one because for one I thought it didn't exist to begin with, and for two I got as much as I felt like I needed for today. I mean we're closing in on Kaos after all. Like how many more upgrades do you really think that we're gonna need? So just to highlight, because I wasn't pointing this out while I was doing it, this is the area you drop off to the left, and at the end of that path is the giant jump, which is what we just did to follow the middle thing. Cool. So, rambling a lot today, as usual. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. I like this game a lot. The episodes are kind of hard to edit and such, so I apologize it's taking a little bit longer to get these episodes up than most of my other series. Hey, look at that. It's got my face on it. I should pick that up. Fortunately, I can't do that just yet. I forget if you have something interesting to say. Gonna ignore you, though. I'm pretty sure he's just like, yes, you're getting close to the place you're trying to get. Alright. So, you can drop off the cliff up there towards the camera. Pick up, like, a bunch of coins. He's got, like, a infinite amount of treasure with Hinata here. As soon as she's gotten some experience, which is the main reason I've been playing with her, we're definitely gonna switch to a new character, because there's a lot of treasure in this level. Shut up, you guys. Nobody asked you. Yes, we're outside an elemental gate, magic one, so it's actually good that we are Hinata right now. So this guy's basically just gonna tell us that there's stuff inside, you know, namely the hat. Alright, so there's some trolls over there, we're gonna have to kill them later. But for now, we got a block puzzle. This is sort of an interesting thing. I forget if there's actually any other area in the game that does this exact thing. But can we get back up from here? There is a way, right? Oh no, I think I have to like push one of these out of the way and yeah, bounce up from this side. Gotcha. Yeah, this thing is weird. But so like rather than this just being a normal block puzzle, it's a block puzzle on the ground, and then up here there's these switches that levitate all of the rocks. It's really weird, but interesting. Definitely not picking up this treasure with Hinata, although again I plan on continuing to play with her for a minute. You know who is gonna get some treasure? Another giant friend of ours. Laboon! Do like the officer's hat on him as well. I'd be interested to know, I don't know how many of you guys actually play this game yourselves. I figure a number of you. But I'd be interested to know how you guys decide on, like, which hats to give your Skylanders characters, or if you use them at all. I mean, like, personally, when I'm, like, playing through the game by myself to, like, just play it the first time, I never really wear the hats. I sort of like the character design of most of the Skylanders, so unless the hat, like, really fits the character, I don't usually use them. But, you know, when I'm playing through the game, I'm trying to get all the collectibles, so I might as well show off what the hats look like on the characters. And, you know, because of that, I used various methods to determine who should get what. Usually it's like, you know, oh, the whale is sort of nautically themed. He's carrying around a giant anchor, so I'll give him the officer's hat. Alright, so once you've pushed all of those blocks in line with these platforms up here, you can make friends with these, troll general guys. Let's use our body slam ability. As I said, we're trying to do some new stuff. A little bit of gold there, that's nice. Easy to miss that, so you might want to take note of where that is in the back corner of this magic gate here at Kaos's castle. And once you kill those trolls, normally I actually haven't had the experience where I've knocked them both off the platform. Normally I just manage to like beat them while they're still up top, and then you have to drop back down to access the bounce pad. The reason that a bounce pad shows up there, even though we've already made it across that ledge, is because in order to get to the hat, you need to make a bridge across this right-hand set of platforms, but you can't do that and also use the levitation switch to get over here. So you need the bounce pad to get up and actually cross the bridge once you've pushed all the blocks in position. Yeah, so actually I mentioned before that Yoshi's had his hat for quite some time. So why not let him try out a new hat? This one is simply because I feel like he's had this hat for a while, even though I really like this hat on him. So I guess you could say he's graduated to a new hat. You probably wouldn't say that, though, because it's pretty weird and unnatural to say that. But, yes, let's wear the hat.
Spicing things up.
Ah, looks smart on you. Alright, and so getting the hat opens this gate up, which is kind of a weird thing. Why does the floor glow like this sometimes? I don't know. That's weird. But that's all that that's hiding in the magic area. And, now, where exactly? Hold on a second. Need to check something.
Any last wishes?
Alright, sorry about that. Normally I'm pretty good about remembering everything, but again, this is a huge level, and there's a couple of tricky bits. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something, because I know it comes up soon, but I couldn't remember if I had to do it before this next part, because it's like some weird, like, stuff gets closed off type things. Anyway, you bounce up by that the bounce pad at the magic gate, and you'll want to head immediately right to this Luck-O-Tron wheel. I find that this one's actually kind of easy to miss, because, like, I don't know, the first time I played this level, I noticed that there, but, like, I thought that I would have to, like, come back to it for some reason. And so, as a result, I came down here and, like, fought these guys. And, after I'd finished fighting them, because this, you actually sort of keep getting attacked by enemies here. Like, it looks fairly simple at first, but then, like, just more of them show up. And, by the time I finished fighting everyone, I forgot that there was something I cared about over on the other side. So, like, I don't know, maybe if you're dumb like me. Apparently I was just really dumb when I played this level the first time. I think part of that is just, like, the sheer scope of it. There's just, like, a lot to this level. Alright, let's see if we can actually put this bottle thing to use. It's such a difficult move to use. I don't know, does anyone have Ninjini and make useful effect of that ability? The bottle explosion thing? Alright, now, this guy might be familiar to you if you played Spyro's Adventure or followed along with me. He's like a big stompy machine gun troll robot. He's kind of a jerk. He just, like, fires a bunch of missiles at you, then stomps. It's helpful to have powerful giants to help fight the giant tech monstrosity that the trolls are putting to use against you. But yeah, like I said, there's sort of, like, that fight just keeps sort of going, and the first time I was playing this, I just sort of, like, lost track of that lucky wheel. So, just remember it's there. Don't be dumb like me. Yeah, I think we've had quite enough treasure for Hinata. I think we're gonna give her a rest for a little while. Who else could use some? How about Rush?
These spots burn.
So, bounce down here. You may have noticed the giant red button off to the left. That's where we're trying to get to. But we've got some collectibles and we don't want to miss out on those. So let's start with the story scroll. Squirreling versus hiding. I don't remember exactly what this one says. So let's find out together.
Though Kaos demands that all treasure found by his drilling machine, Drill X, be turned over to him, some say that Drill X may have squirreled away some of that treasure for himself. Others say that he hid it. Then others say that squirreling away and hiding are pretty much the same thing. In any case, pay special attention to the flaws when you visit his big rig.
Ah, I see. Squirreling versus hiding is a weird joke about an expression people don't really use that often. Squirreling and hiding do basically mean the same thing. I don't know why that's such a point of contention for Eon. Anyway, we finally find ourselves at the Soul Gem for Ninjini, which we spotted earlier. There's this sort of, like, guardrail to this balcony here. Oh, this is a really weird one. Actually, this is something that sort of makes it easier to use that bottle explosion thing. The Dazzling Enchantment sort of, like, lures in, like, simpler enemies, and they'll, like, come close to the bottle, and I don't think they attack you. I think that's part of the enchantment part of the Dazzling Enchantment. But, like, they get close to the bottle, and then you can press the button again to make it explode and damage all the enemies who have come close because of the enchantment. Someday we'll hopefully have a chance to try that out. I don't know if we'll manage to get all of the gold necessary for all of our characters to get all of their things. It's hard to do in the last game, it's even harder to do now. But there's, like, a little guardrail here keeping us from getting there from, like, 2 feet away, which we were earlier. Which is kind of annoying, but, you know, it's a nice way to add some depth to the level, I guess. Yeah. It's weird how, like, it's always easier to bounce up bounce pads just, like, walking in the direction that you want to go to start with. Is there only... I guess there's only one of these that's open. I thought both of the ones adjacent to the bounce pad were open, but I'm just being dumb again. I'm having a really stupid day, you guys. A really stupid day. So yes, as I mentioned, giant red button. It's not exactly subtle. Let's press it. Because really, how could anyone resist pressing the giant red button? Yeah, luckily we've already dealt with all the ambushed guys here outside, but there's probably something still in store for us inside. In fact, there's like a bajillion enemies. And so the way I'm gonna start off fighting a bajillion enemies is with a light core Skylander who could use some extra experience. There we go. Did a bit to weaken everybody. It's a nice start. Yeah, this is actually a really hectic, intense battle at this stage of the level. Again, very long level, so there's a number of points where you'll fight a large quantity of enemies. And it makes sense, of course, because this is Kaos's base. I mean, you didn't expect to just, like, tell him swipe or no swiping, and then he'd go home and leave the Fist of Arcus where it was to begin with. Oh good, we got an Archean Crackler back. I managed to accidentally hit the correct one like twice in a row. Here's the guy. You can get a couple of shots off on him before he manages to disappear. But like sometimes he'll just like create the clones like where you're standing, and then like you'll accidentally attack them while you're trying to hit him. So it might be worth being careful because of that. Just exploded into a crystal ball covered in gold. It's sort of nice, I guess. Look, another one. Yeah, it's weird. The fight takes a little bit of a pause when this guy first shows up. But once you're onto the second one, a bunch of trolls come to assist. Dang, I was trying to run away from that, and it just bounced in exactly the path I was walking. It's pretty annoying. Actually, you know what I haven't used in a while is this stupid, absorbing fan blade thing. Probably not great on these, like, super melee guys. You know what would be a terrible thing to try and, like, vacuum blade is the guy who has explosive clones. So, you know, that's probably something to keep in mind if you're having a stupid day like I am, where you're just being stupid. So yeah, in terms of attacks lesser used with Jetvac, I mean, I definitely prefer his like actual stupid exploding guys. That's the only thing that makes those guys difficult, because they literally. How did the grenade follow me there? That was stupid. Apparently, I'm not the only one responsible for the stupid part of my stupid day. But as I was saying, since these like cackler guys don't actually attack you, the only way that they manage to deal damage is this really cheap thing where they just like spawn their explosive clones like on top of you and they explode without you being able to dodge them. And you may recall that I really hate that aspect of Skylanders, where like stupid things like attack you and you don't have a chance to react to it at all. So the cackler's not my favorite. Even though they're not the most threatening thing in the world, I still find them kind of annoying for the fact that they're basically like engineered to do like lame attacks to you and attack you cheaply in a way that oh god, there's missiles now. Yeah, there's a couple of giant pants troll robots on the way. They're like troll stompers, is that the name? I don't know. I always recognize these guys by like their appearance rather than their names for the most part. Some of them are more memorable, and especially the enemies I hate more than others, I tend to remember their names. Alright, so yeah, the real trick to the stomper robots, like, you sort of want to be close to be able to attack them most rapidly. Even with like sort of ranged attacks, I feel like you're better off being close. Ugh. But you also don't want to get too close because they have a little shockwave when they do their stomp thing. Stupid grenades. So if you're not careful and you're trying to get close to do a lot of damage, either with melee Skylander or just trying to like shoot quickly with your ranged Skylanders, then leave me alone. Ah, stupid grenade. Alright, we're gonna take a break with Falco. He's taking a bit of punishment here Who do we have that might be good for this situation? Haven't really seen Laboon in action yet today, despite his brief visit to the magic gate area. I was gonna be so mad if that grenade just exploded while I was like summoning a Skylander on top of it. Like, it's not really my fault, that's you being a jerk. There we go. Put my lesser used belly dive move to good use. Again, want to try and stay out of the range of that with like melee Skylanders such as Laboon here. Although, again, you of course do more damage if you just stay up close and personal. Right, so I think the only thing left is to get rid of this stupid grenade guy. So let's just sit on him. Yes. I always thought it was kind of weird that, like, after, like, defeating those trolls, like, you can't really deal with the grenade troll because he's, like, up on a balcony, and even, like, the arcing attacks that I talk about sometimes can't get up past that ledge. But, like, you can't deal with him while the troll stompy bots are, like, around and, shooting at you and such. So, like, he ends up being, like, the ultimate enemy of that entire giant assault we just dealt with. Okay, so here's what that I was talking about the Kaos statues before, these Kaos busts. It's basically just his screaming head. I guess someone, like, sculpted this while he was yelling at Glumshanks or something. So you break those. That should be 4 total that we've broken now. Before we go and deal with the soda works, which is an interesting thing, let's head over here to visit our friend Auric. Let's real quick look at his wares.
Quite the place our man Kaos has here. So, what would you care to purchase this day?
That's a great question. I'm pretty sure it's nothing. So we've got another battle mode arena, which isn't really useful to me because I don't actually know anyone else who has Skylanders, so I can't really multiplayer with them. We've got a hat, an interesting Skystone. It has 4 blades on one side. I've mentioned in the past that like 4 is the maximum that you can get in this game, and there's a couple different variations of like 4 blades, but most of them have like few or no blades on any of the other sides, and so you can like steal something with 3 blades going in one direction, but then the stone that you put down yourself has sort of like a high risk to it. Anyway, everything else is pretty much standard besides those couple items. And I don't really have need for any of that, so I'll just leave it there for now. Can I even get up this? I don't think you can. For some reason they make you drop down this tiny ledge to go see Auric in his shop. So you end up having to... Yeah, and you also can't go down this ledge? Oh, I thought you couldn't. Huh. So why is the bounce pad there? Maybe you can with giants and not regular Skylanders? Well, I certainly don't care enough to try and figure that out. Hey, let's talk to this guy.
Master Kaos loves locks. This door has 2. Must go left and right path to unlock. Many buzzsaws and traps each way. Master Kaos loves those even more.
Interesting. Yeah, so basically, the left path has, like, barrel-throwing jerks. The idea is that these barrels are supposed to be full of soda, because the Soda Works is where Kaos' family made their own soda, which I think this Willikin will actually tell us a little bit more about.
Master's family used to make own soda. Flavors were sand, mud, and radioactive suction eel. Did not sell well. Some left in those barrels, though. Can drink if you like, but don't recommend.
Thank you, helpful Willikin. I was thinking of making a power thirst joke, but none of them would really be appropriate for the audience of people watching this game, unfortunately. Power thirst is very funny. That's weird. I thought even giants were, like, susceptible to the iron barrels. I know that, like, regular sized Skylanders, if they like touch those like spiked metal barrels, the barrel will like explode and deal like kind of a lot of damage actually. But like I forget. There may be something to like if your Skylander's gotten like an armor upgrade or something that factors into that. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Let's give Falco a little bit of his health back. I think if possible we'd like to fight with him a little bit more. There's a couple of my Skylanders lagging behind a little bit in experience, and I'm trying not to like have them hog the whole episode, but I still want to have them get a fair shot at this. I haven't been trying as hard as I was in the last game to keep everyone even, but they were definitely starting to fall behind certain other characters that are definitely better for situations that get a lot of experience. So over here behind the food is a feat of strength. Again, if you're familiar with this game, I'm pretty sure you can guess what's on the other side. The aviary! No, that's not what I meant. I meant this treasure chest.
The treasures of the sea.
Okay, so we're still sort of in the Soda Works area, so once we use that bounce pad we opened up a minute ago, we'll still be dealing with these iron barrels. Yeah, I really thought even the giants were susceptible to these. Maybe some are and some aren't. I'm not sure why Laboon would be immune and the others wouldn't, though. Man, those soda throwing guys, they're real pushovers. It takes like one attack and they all just like explode simultaneously. In fairness, my attack does sort of like sweep in a big arc, which is kind of cool. I always like that about Laboon's like anchor attack thing. Yeah, I'm definitely starting to lean towards trying out his Anchors Away upgrade path. Again, if you have strong opinions, feel free to voice them in the comments. But there will be time for that later, and again, I'll explain what that means in a bit. For now, more Skystones.
Do you come to see the master? He and Troll Friend are very nearby. Button over there helps open door to their chambers. But you must play me at Skystones first, then Button.
Challenge accepted, friend.
Oh, good. I not played in a long time, though. Not since Master's mother played with me.
Stone collected.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple opponent there. He's got a bunch of really simple Drow Lance Master stones and then a pair of these Trog Wanderers. So he does have a pretty good shot of being able to use up that undead spot on the left-hand side of the board. But other than that, all of his stones are pretty easy to take, so not a big challenge.
Good play. Even better than Master's mother. You can use Button now.
And so we shall, Button. As foretold, that releases one of the locks on that door at the top of the stairs in Kaos's lobby or foyer. I don't know exactly what you want to call it. Over here, though, we had the soda and barrel traps over on the other side. Well, not so much traps, but enemies. And some of them were traps, I guess. Over here, more of those buzzsaws. So as I mentioned, when it rains, it pours when it comes to buzzsaws. Let's talk to this guy.
This was sewing room for Master. Never see him sew anything, though. Must be other Willikin who do the sewing because he sometimes sends one of us here, but only when we do something wrong.
Well, judging by the decor, I can understand why this room is meant to be a punishment, but it doesn't seem very kind to the Willikin friends, who are really just trying to be nice. Probably a silly idea to try and do this with a giant character, because they're slow and large, and thus they're really easy targets for the giant spinning blades of death. So, you know, since we need to pick up this food for our friend Falco anyway, figure we might as well venture around with him for a bit. He hasn't had a chance to do much walking today, just a bunch of fighting. And get cheap attacked several times. There's another Chaos statue. That brings our total to 5, so I think we need one more. I think there's like a stash with like 2 or 3 somewhere around here as well. Right, so we've got like a really interesting puzzle here. It's pretty simple, but I still think it's kind of a cool one, where you keep pressing this button to switch back and forth between whether like all of these blocks are raised or lowered, and it sort of leads you down 2 paths. This path over here to the right is more optional. It's called the Man Cave. I think it's pretty funny. There's a treasure chest that you'll want to make sure not to miss down here. And of course, that is our 4th for the level, for those of you keeping track, and 4 is the number of treasure chests in every level, as opposed to the last game where there was a different number in different levels. We've also got another game of Skystones. Kind of a heavy level for Skystones, but only one of them is actually mandatory, the one we did just a moment ago. Still though, I think I'm going to take on this opponent and see if I can beat him.
Hi, stranger. Want to play Skystones? Oh, I really hope so.
Let's do it.
Yay!
Stone collected.
Well, I definitely got a little bit lucky there with him just sort of like wasting the Goliath Drow at a weird point in that fight. I definitely remember this guy, I forget the name of this particular, I think Conlan is this Willikin Skystones guy. I remember him giving me a bunch of trouble the first time I played through this. I tried to beat him like 2 or 3 times and couldn't do it and thought he was a particularly hard opponent or something, but every time I've played him since that initial run through this level, he's seemed easier. He's still a pretty tough opponent though. So don't take him lightly. Be very careful about where you place your stones and making the best use of what sides you have available to you, that sort of thing.
It's fun because you beat me.
That's a good attitude to have. Alright, so let's head in here real quick. One more collectible to be found in this zone. A legendary treasure. I think this is the Dragon Engine? Yeah, I've always been confused by this. They call things engines that don't look remotely engine-like. This is a pair of wings for the ship. Now, I think it was just last episode I mentioned something about how, like, there wasn't actually a difference between any of the legendary treasures, and I have since been proven wrong. There is an extra area of the ship that you can access, but only when you have the Dragon Engine equipped. And I thought this just happened later in the game because I equipped the Dragon Engine close to the end of the game during my playthrough, and I thought eventually that area just became unlocked by beating levels or something along those lines. But no, it's specifically having the Dragon Engine equipped, so we'll take a look at that later.
I'll take it all.
As for now, I think we've cleared out the man cave.
Take to the sky.
So it's back to this old block switch puzzle thing to progress to the second switch to open the path forward through the main door. Yes, I think it's, yeah, here we have 2 more Chaos statues, which I think brings us up to a total of 7. So I think you're even allowed to, like, miss one of the ones in the level. I think we've already encountered all of them at this point. But if you get, I think it's just 6 of them that you have to get in order to get the achievement/trophy, depending on which game system you have the Skylanders game for. I think I'm gonna get hit by these spikes. Nope, guess not. Yeah, it's kind of easy to get caught in, like, bad timing, though. Because, like, there's so many, like, dangerous traps in this area. Just, like, do your best to avoid everything you can. If you take a hit, it's usually not the end of the world. Just be careful. I think here, rather than going forward... No, I'm mistaken. I thought that was one of those ones where the blade didn't come all the way to the end. And so you were, like, better off hiding in the corner rather than trying to, like, beat the timing on 2 saws at once. But I'm pretty sure that, in fact, that's just something I continually misremember and have done that at least twice. So, again, having a pretty stupid day. At least you guys can learn from my mistakes. That's one nice thing about the whole Let's Play thing. Anyway, there's no one, like, particularly guarding the second switch, just a bunch of traps and lasers and such. So we press this button, open the second lock, and, it's sorry, back to start. But now we've done basically everything we can do outside of this door, other than hear this guy.
You do it! You go through door to see Master Kaos now. Hope he's not so angry anymore. Very mean to troll friend.
Well, let's see what kind of mood Kaos is in. So that's an armored life spell punk? Have we met one of those before? I feel like this is the first time you see one, but they don't actually do a proper introduction for him. It is kind of interesting, though, how they introduced the concept of these falling blocks to you. I actually like this, because this will be important in a minute, but they show it to you in a way that's, like, kind of funny and interesting, and, like, doesn't cause you to take lame damage or anything. Oh. You gotta watch out for them. When they're blinking yellow, it means that they're ready to fall, in case you didn't pick up on that. But the idea is definitely that they fall and that is problematic.
Well, Skylander, don't you know it's rude to stop by unannounced? But foolishly, you have stumbled right into my family's ballroom dance floor of doom! Big hit at family reunions. Much as I'd love to stay and witness your demise, I have a giant drill to attend to, but I leave you in good hands. Brute! Show the Skylanders some hospitality.
Let's dance!
Interesting. So, yeah, it looks like Kaos' family is big into some sort of murderous type of dancing, which is a very weird hobby, I have to admit. Again, as I pointed out, the dropping platforms is sort of an important element to this fight, because the entire floor here in this area is made up of those types of blocks, so if you don't pick up on the trick, then you can find yourself falling down there and taking a bunch of damage. You don't, like, auto-die or get trapped down there or anything. You just sort of fall, and then you respawn up top, but you, like, take, like, a fair amount of damage. Oh, that was really not a good time for that platform to disappear. This really is a lot of Mace Majors. I don't know how many you guys consider to be a lot of Mace Majors. I consider that number of Mace Majors to be a lot of Mace Majors. Anyway, it looks like Kaos doesn't have the guts to face us himself today, but at least he's told us his plans like a James Bond villain. Excellent. Level up. That's the sort of thing I was looking for. Alright, let's in fact switch characters, try to spread the love around. As I mentioned, and as we've already encountered, there's quite a lot of fighting to do in this level. But, you know who hasn't had a chance to fight, but has recently gotten a powerful upgrade, is our friend Flint. Now, this isn't really the best place to try and show off his new rolling out ability, but I do feel the need to show it off somewhat. So yeah, again, you can take damage in this form. It doesn't make you invincible like the burrowing ability of our old friend Garchomp from the last game. But, because like the boulders split out in that fashion, as I pointed out earlier, like it's much easier to avoid attacks that are like coming straight at you sort of thing. But it's definitely something you kind of have to be very careful with Flint in general. I hate these grenades. They like home in on you practically. It's so hard not to get hit by them in a lot of different situations. For God's sake, aiming that hammer is the worst.
I'm just getting warmed up here! Increase the pain!
Pain level 2. Is this when the food? Yeah, okay. So at this stage of the fight, this is something that you'll see in various. Oh, good. It's one of. I do not want to fight that guy with Flint right now. I'm gonna be entirely honest with you. So instead of that, let's use. Oh, I know. We went to all the trouble of saving up Meta Ridley's Light Core Explosion. Let's put it to good use. That's a particularly annoying section of the fight just there. Because that platform up at the top, it usually has 3 grenade generals on it, and so they're able to like sort of snipe you with those powerful, annoying explosives. And like the block, there's like a single block leading over to that platform, and it disappears like constantly. For God's sake. So like it's really hard to get over there and fight them. Like ranged attacks don't go over the gap for some reason. So you really have to go when that block is up, but like I said, it disappears like constantly. I'm trying to use my blade attack here with Meta Ridley, again, trying to show off a little bit of a different tactic thing. Jeez. Now remember these guys having quite as much health, and I've been fighting them like all day long. Alright, now that that stupid Stompy Bot's out of the way, let's switch to... Flynn's gotten a little beaten up. Let's try Pegasus.
I've got my eye.
I mean, he also has had an upgrade. He's got power fists. Yeah, 20 damage with the punch is pretty good, not gonna lie. course, we also still have our laser fire. Uh-oh. Of course, it's really dangerous to let your body get swarmed while you're trying to do the lasers, and that's really a good general rule for trying to figure out when you should be using the lasers and when not. Ooh, level up, huh? Doing pretty good today. Let's continue trying to spread the experience around. These arena things are a great opportunity for that sort of thing. I forget. Laboon, did you have a chance to get to the next level? Let's find out. Ah, you did not. What a perfect time then. There we go. Get rid of a bunch of those guys before the life spell punk has a chance to heal them up. I think I beat him. He just sort of disappeared. Alright, let's do our belly dive. Gets us over here faster in the midst of all these stupid grenade generals. I really don't remember these guys giving me quite as much trouble the first time I played this game. But, I don't know if you've been paying attention. I'm certainly having trouble with them now.
Think you can take any more punishment? Let's find out!
Alright, one more switch, I think. Because we're nearing the end of this battle.
Any last wishes?
Job.
So that brute guy who's been calling all the shots for this arena, he's what's known as a jawbreaker. He's the type of enemy we'll see more of later. I hate these guys. They have this like impenetrable force field going on when they put up their fists like that to try and punch you. And of course, if you don't like get close enough to them for them to try and punch you, then like they're never going to make themselves vulnerable. Like they're just so hard to hit, and when they hit you, they do like 1,000,000 damage, and their attack like hits from like halfway across the screen. Like these guys are just super annoying. You also definitely want to try and just like take him out as quickly as possible, because there's so many like life spell punks spawning. I think there's like a finite number of them though. I'm pretty sure that if you just keep attacking... Oh, great. I missed my opportunity there. It's the trouble of trying to do a fight like this with giants where you want to be quick. But of course, we've been over things like that in the past. It shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone at this point. There we go. See, we're making good use of all of our attacks today. And I think it's actually working out pretty well. Range attacks have been good. Just, you know, trying a little bit of everything. There we go. He barfs out a bunch of treasure.
You may have defeated me, Skylander, but you'll never stop Master Kaos. He has an ingenious plan to get that Iron Fist of Arcus. Then he'll rule Skylands. Then he can finally take me fishing.
It's just like the weirdest, like, end to a level. He's like curled up in this big, like, beaten up lump on the ground. And he's like, "My master has an excellent plan, and then he shall take me fishing, like Papa never had a chance to do," or something. I don't know what they're going for there, but it's kind of goofy and fun. Anyway, as I mentioned, Kaos gave us the slip, distracting us with that arena fight just there. But we still managed to show his minions who's boss, and we were hot on his trail. He's not going to get away from us, and he's not going to get away with what he did to our friend Machine Ghost. So let's see what the next step of our plan will be.
So sorry we couldn't help you out down there. Callie and I looked for another way in, but we must have taken a wrong turn or something.
Yeah.
You know, Callie, it takes two to get lost. One to actually get lost, and the other to notice.
Anyway, we did find out where Kaos was going. A giant drilling rig way out in the middle of nowhere. He must plan on drilling down to the lost city of Arcus.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get to that rig. Oh, yeah, right. I have to drive.
Likely story, you guys, about getting lost and everything. Jeez, look how much treasure Hinata got today. That's absurd. We may, in fact, just go for her soul gem, since we have so much. I don't know. We'll see. Next time, we're definitely going to be doing something a little bit different. I think we're going to have what I like to call a bonus episode. It's not going to be the main story of the game, but now that we've unlocked the second arena, that's right, since we did an arena fight in a level, we have a new arena fight available with our friend Brock. So I think it's time to start looking into those, and I think that will give you guys enough time to weigh in on, you know, last-minute decisions for upgrade pads, because everyone's really getting close to the point where we need to make those decisions, and there's no turning back for, I think, any of the characters I have on hand. But there's something else we need to take care of today. Put on the Dragon Engine. As I mentioned, it does something a little bit different from the others. It's not, well, I don't know. We'll take a look at the Dragon Engine the next time that we add something. We did just switch things up on the ship anyway. But because of the Dragon Engine, we can get down to this door right here. And inside the door is Hatterson, who I can only assume is related to Batterson from the Darklight Crypt level of the last game.
Dapper Prince Gatsby! I'm so glad you found me. Have you met my brother Patterson? He likes to cook pies. But me, I'm all about the hats. Like to sell them, wear them. Well, mostly just sell them. So, would you like to buy a hat for me?
If you're all into the hats, then why are you wearing an apron as if you two are also a chef? Anyway, let's take a look at his wares.
Let's see what I have for you.
So, he literally just sells hats. In case you thought he was kidding or something. He just has a bunch of hats. If you like to collect hats, you're gonna want to come down here and buy these hats. Some of them are actually pretty sweet. What is the Showtime hat is 25 elemental power. Several of these are like a good speed boost or a pretty hefty boost to a couple of things. They're on the solid side, I would say, for sure. And if you just like to collect stuff, that's also a factor. There's one more thing I think we have to look at today before signing off. And that'll be in here, if I'm not mistaken. And no, it's not the gate. We'll look into that later. It is, in fact, a winged sapphire, now just hiding slightly off camera from where you enter the game room. Of course, winged sapphires are always good because of the discount they give you on upgrades, and when you have so many characters, upgrades can get very costly. So that's a nice addition to our collection, I guess, our collection of all things Skylanders. And of course, beating another level, we have another chance to take out the gun deck. I think we'll use someone other than Hinata, though, because she's gotten like 1 million treasure today. Why not Laboon? Just because. Alright, so, as I show off this thing, I will sign off, as I've been doing recently. So thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you guys like what you see, please consider sharing it with others or liking. Those things are great. They help me out a ton. And they also let me know that you're anxious for more of the series. And that always helps me motivate myself just a little bit to try and get these episodes done sooner. I've been working really hard lately to try and get these going up sooner. Hopefully I'll be able to show off you know, the fruits of that labor, I guess you could say. But yeah, I have fun doing this. It's just the long episodes and stuff. Takes a while. And be sure to weigh in on upgrade pads that you prefer to see for the next episode. And next time, we'll be taking a little bit of a break from the story to visit the arena and show off what that's like. Hopefully pick up a charm, even. I don't know. We'll see what we can get done. Not making any promises. But, yeah, we'll have a lot of fun. We'll show off all the Skylanders. We'll do some cool stuff. Just like always. See you for that.